Malik slowly reached out, his hands brushing against the smooth, worn surface of the piano. The laughter faded into whispers. Some leaned in with curiosity. Others crossed their arms, waiting for the awkward stumble they thought was coming. His heart raced. He remembered every time he'd been underestimated, every time people doubted what he could do. This wasn't just about music anymore. It was about his place in the world. The first note came soft, hesitant. A few chuckles escaped the crowd, but then his fingers found their rhythm, moving with a confidence no one expected. Each note carried weight, anger, pain, hope, all woven into a melody too raw to ignore. The whispers stopped. The laughter died. The famous pianist, who had been entertaining guests just minutes before, turned sharply toward Malik, his eyes narrowing in disbelief. Malik's playing grew stronger. He wasn't following sheet music. He couldn't read it. What he played came from deep within, from years of hearing the world in ways others never could. His blindness became his strength, every note alive with emotion, with truth, but not everyone was ready to accept it. A man near the front leaned toward his companion, muttering, "There's no way he's really playing this. Someone's helping him." The words weren't about doubt, they were about prejudice. For him, Malik's brilliance was impossible, simply because of who he was. The room was split. Some stared in awe, others in denial. Malik could feel it, the tension, the disbelief pressing down on him. He knew this performance wasn't just music, it was a fight, for dignity, for recognition, for existence. And just when the melody reached its peak, the room had to make a choice: dismiss him once again, or finally acknowledge the undeniable. Malik's fingers blurred across the keys, the music exploding like a storm. Every note carried years of being doubted, dismissed, underestimated. The room shook with the force of it. And then, cutting through the sound, came a sharp voice. "Stop wasting our time. He doesn't belong here." The words sliced through him. A hush fell. All eyes were on Malik, but not with admiration, with judgment. His chest tightened, his breath shallow. For a second he thought about standing up, walking away, letting them win. He had felt this before, the sting of invisibility, the ache of rejection. But something inside him refused to break. Instead, his hands pressed harder into the keys, pouring every ounce of himself into the music. Rage, sorrow, defiance, all collided in sound so raw it was impossible to ignore. The melody became thunder, his story echoing through the hall. The famous pianist stepped forward, his confident mask gone. He wasn't smirking anymore. His eyes widened, shaken. The audience, torn between disbelief and awe, sat frozen. Some clapped through tears, others whispered in denial. Malik couldn't see their faces, but he felt the energy shift. This wasn't just music, this was truth, his truth, and it demanded to be heard. The final chords soared, trembling with power. And in that moment, one question lingered in every corner of the room. Would they finally see him or erase him once again? When the last note faded, silence lingered. The crowd sat stunned, as if the air itself had been knocked out of the room. Then applause erupted, loud, uneven, messy. Some clapped with genuine awe, others with guilt, others just to cover their shame. The famous pianist stepped forward, bowing his head in respect. For him, there was no denying it. Malik had a gift beyond measure. But for Malik, it wasn't about applause, it wasn't victory, it was survival. It was proof that even in a world determined to dismiss him, he could not be silenced. And yet the truth cut deep. Why had he needed to prove himself at all? Why did his brilliance have to fight through layers of prejudice just to be acknowledged? Malik walked away that night not with pride, but with a heavy understanding. This wasn't just his story. It was the story of every black boy, every child who had to fight for recognition in a world that doubted them before they even began. His music echoed far beyond the hall. It carried a challenge: to listen, to believe, to change. So I ask you, how many more Maliks must pour their souls into the world before we finally hear them? If Malik's story moved you, don't let it end here. Share your thoughts in the comments, hit like to spread his voice, and subscribe for more stories that reveal the truths we can't ignore.